A remake of Shadow of the Colossus was something nobody asked for or expected, and yet I'm extremely glad we got one, as Bluepoint have done an incredible job of successfully bringing the 2005 classic up to date whilst keeping Team Ico's original vision and style intact. For those unfamiliar with the game, Shadow of the Colossus places you in the hands of Wonder, a young man desperate to revive a girl named Mono, seeking the help of an entity known as Dorman, an entity that legend has it can revive the dead. Shadow of the Colossus, like other Team Ico games, is subtle in its storytelling, leaving much of it down to player interpretation. We don't know what Mono's relationship is to the protagonist, why she was sacrificed other than due to a cursed fate, nor is it immediately clear if Dorman is good or evil. Regardless, Wonder, in exchange for her potential revival, is tasked with taking down 16 Colossi that inhabit the Forbidden Lands, with only the help of an ancient sword, bow and arrow, and his trusty horse Agro. Shadow of the Colossus is unique in the sense that there are no side quests, NPCs or leveling systems that you come to expect from many of today's games. You have but one singular task, to bring down every Colossi that Dorman describes to you. Each time raising your sword in direct sunlight will point you to its location, setting you and Agro off for the poignantly desolate surroundings to bring it down. It's essentially a game built around repetition, but never actually feels repetitive, thanks in large to not only the incredible environments, but also due to how different each Colossus encounter is, possessing vastly different shapes, sizes and puzzles to work out in order to clamber on top to strike their glowing weak points. Although the audio and soundtrack remains largely unchanged, it's still just as fantastic and unique as before. Whether it be the lack of music as you travel the landscapes, hearing just the hooves of Agro hit the floor and the whistling of the wind pass you, or the dramatic, inspiring music that plays as you attempt to topple a Colossus, before quickly shifting to a more somber, sad tone when you're victorious, often leaving you contemplating your actions. In regards to what is new, most notably is of course the graphics, being a huge upgrade that stands up well against even the best looking games the PS4 has to offer. Every blade of grass is distinctly visible as you trek through the vast, breathtaking environments that you'll no doubt feel the need to stop on a number of occasions just to take in and admire. Each strand of hair on the Colossus are now also completely rendered as it shifts and sways in an attempt to loosen your grip, looking more imposing than ever before. If you're fortunate enough to own a PS4 Pro and 4K TV, you have two options in addition to HDR to greatly increase your experience, in the form of Cinematic and Performance mode. In Cinematic mode, Shadow of the Colossus looks even more unbelievably jaw-dropping, running at an upscaled 4K at 30 FPS, while in Performance mode, resolution isn't quite as high, but hits an almost solid 60 FPS. A fantastic feat considering the original on PS2 commonly fell below 20 as a result of pushing the console to its limits. If there is one thing I'm not particularly fond of about Bluepoint's version, is Wonder himself. Wonder has never looked quite like your traditional protagonist, but he has a kind of porcelain dull quality to his face that looks a little off compared to the PS2 and PS3 versions. It's by no means a big complaint, but it's worth noting. Graphical and performance changes aside, there is the addition of a new control scheme that should feel more natural to newcomers, requiring in some instances less inputs to execute moves. For example, you can now roll at the push of the circle button as opposed to needing to press both R1 and triangle, which wasn't nearly as intuitive. The classic control method still exists for those that either simply prefer it or are used to it, so it's nice they gave the player the choice to decide. I did notice the camera could, much like the original, occasionally still be an issue, and Agro's controls can feel a little stiff, especially in the rare times you're in tight spaces, but these didn't detract from the experience. Additionally, as with many remasters and remakes, you have a full photo mode to take advantage of, with plenty of options and filters to show off just how incredible the game looks. You can also apply a number of different filters outside of photo mode, with both Mono and Emerald giving an effect very close to the PS2 version if that's something you want. Finally, for those hoping some of the 8 Colossi that were cut from the original game would make an appearance, sadly they don't, which no doubt would have been a great addition, but I'm not surprised we didn't get any of them either, considering the amount of work that would have been required to implement them. Overall, I didn't expect to enjoy playing through Shadow of the Colossus again as much as I did, especially after already receiving a remaster in 2011 that still holds up well today, but I really did. Bluepoint have always been known for crafting great remasters of well-known series, but they really outdone themselves here, solidifying themselves as a go-to developers for both remasters and remakes, and hope to see them take on additional projects similar to this in the future, where their talent continues to shine. Shadow of the Colossus is a game that, despite being 13 years old, stands the test of time more than most others thanks to both the graphical and performance improvements, resulting in a classic title that feels almost close to perfected. That's it for this review. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content just like this. Click the thumbnail on the left or right for another of my videos. Thanks for watching as usual, and I'll see you on the next video.